Hello everyone and welcome back to Talisman Digital Edition. In the last video we took a look at about half of the dungeon's board tiles through the use of the Swashbuckler, one of that expansion's new characters. I'm a pretty big fan of the Swashbuckler. I think he's a fantastic character. His special abilities are just great. But we didn't get very far in the dungeon with the Swashbuckler, as it was pretty risky. The Amazon seems like a risk mitigation character, with great movement ability, and the ability to re-roll the die for both sides on battles in which she is defeated or has a standoff. Her strength and craft being balanced means that if she gets a lead in either respect, she can just run with it. Someone like the Troll getting some early craft may help, but it's not going to put him on the craft path very easily. She does start with slightly more fate than the Swashbuckler, and she's neutral, so she can pay for more. But the lives may be a bit more concerning. The Swashbuckler is good, so he could be healed at the chapel for free whenever he wants to. We don't have that luxury with the Amazon. So I'm going to implement a Runestones house rule to try to get to dungeon levels as easily as possible, starting with one more strength than we normally would, trading in strength trophies distinctly earlier, and trading in craft trophies earlier, mostly because I don't have very good runes at the moment. Starting with craft 3 doesn't do very much for us. I don't expect to be toted very often, and adding 3 to our starting lives just makes the game longer. So trading in craft trophies at 6 it is. Other than that, we're just running with the dungeon, and no other house rules in effect. So let's jump right in and see who our opponents turn out to be. 2 other Amazons. That's a first for me. I've never seen that many Amazons in one game. But it does reduce the efficiency of our passive battle ability against those other Amazons. It looks like they started with the same runestones. Indeed they did. Wonder if that's by design. Actually. And the Martyr gets none. That seems way too samey to be coincidence. Especially with the Martyr getting no runestones. Anyway, that strangeness aside, the Amazons are basically us. We're even. The Martyr we do have a slight advantage on, other than the fact that the Martyr can spend fate, I believe. No, lives. Sacrifice 1 life to automatically win battles. When the Martyr attacks, we can still attack the Martyr. At little cost to us. We actually have a slight advantage. Interestingly, there are no casters in this game. So let's see how it works out. We won't jump into the dungeon immediately, I think. We'll probably make one pass around the board, just to see what we can get. A market day, that'll give us a sword. I'm thankful for that. I appreciate the ability to get some more combat stat. Looks like the Amazon is taking a different path with a water bottle. I expect basically to skip the middle region. One of my goals for this video is to thoroughly explore the dungeon, getting more of its cards, getting to its ending boss, a 12/12 Lord of Darkness, which is pretty strong. That'll be difficult to beat. But I would like to get some of his treasure, and the ability to teleport around is kind of interesting. The Martyr got a Poltergeist. She'll be able to just cross the river and get rid of it pretty easily. For those who don't know what the poltergeist is, it stays as a follower until you cross a river, either by using a raft to cross the river here, or through the city where you can see the river moving there, or the village. Other than that, you move at 1 square. Your speed is reduced to 1, you don't get a die roll. But she can just immediately cross the river and be fine. So, we have no business at the chapel. We could back up slightly. And the martyr does have a water bottle, but I don't think it's worth attacking the martyr for a water bottle. Like I said, I expect to skip the middle region. For now, let's just move by 1 and slowly make our way around, trying to get some trophies of some sort. There are no evil characters in the game, so this phantom, for now at least, is irrelevant and using up a board slot. A mercenary that the Amazon cannot pay for. It looks like no one can pay for it. Everybody ended up buying something, I suppose. Which looks true, based on everyone's items. And Amazon on Amazon action. Looks like Green Amazon did way better. And I want that ring. Huh. Is it worth anything? Well, that's kind of a bad roll. I'm not going to use a fate to re-roll it, but it will end up being essentially a wasted turn. I wouldn't mind attacking the Green Amazon, but she is slightly stronger than we are at the moment because of the ring that I would like to take. So to an extent, I would like to get a couple trophies and then attack the Green Amazon, but we will have to move into the middle region to do so. A magic belt to the martyr. Target acquired. Looks like the other Amazon is probably going to take the same tack and fail miserably. And still fail miserably, even through the use of her passive. That Amazon is not having a particularly good day. I believe she had the ring stolen, and then lost health to the martyr. 1 short, although we couldn't have gotten that extra 1. But let's move into that same region and get a 2-card draw. A bear and a wild boar. We are even with this combination, so I don't feel too badly about it. If it goes poorly the first time, we do have a second shot at it, but I think we are going to win. Especially if they just trip over each other and, you know, the bear attacks the boar and things generally go our way. We can trade in our trophies because of our runestone and immediately get even more strength. I feel pretty confident about going into the dungeon area now or soonish. Looks like Green Amazon is going to be evil. And the wolf pretty much stands no chance in this combat. Sorry, wolf. I would very much have liked to get that wolf myself. There's no point in attacking Purple Amazon. I would like to attack the martyr. And I wouldn't mind attacking the Amazon now that we're even, so that I could take her things. In either case, really. Sadly, Purple Amazon is, again, not having a very good day. Although that was a good reroll. That will be a turn-in for the Amazon if she deigns to do so. And that's 2 strength to her because of her runestones. That was actually a really good turn for her. I don't care about the mercenary, I can't pay him. So let's just move into the dungeon. A secret passage. Roll 1 die to determine where we emerge. Not 2. I don't know about the kitchen, and I don't know about the cell. I suspect that the cell is bad, seeing as it's a dungeon cell. Hopefully we don't get the chance to find out right now, and instead we go to the guard room, where we can encounter a 5 strength guard. I don't know that I'm terribly happy about it, but we will redo the battle. Hopefully the guard rolls low the second time, and indeed he does. We suffer no detriment. And that was somewhat of an interesting teleportation. I'm glad to see it. Not because it's particularly strong or anything, but because it's interesting. Across to the Amazon. Seems like it would be more suited to the Martyr. But no matter. The Martyr versus Hobgoblin. Not a very good shot for the Martyr. Although she may end up using some of her fate. She did take a life of damage, which I think would have been a better option to just lose the health. But I'm less familiar with the Martyr character. I'm not sure she could have done it mid-battle. So, how far can we get into this dungeon? We have a draw 3, which is pretty dangerous, or a draw 1. I feel much better about draw 1s. We could go back to the teleport you to a random place card, but I think we should explore some more of the deck. A living statue, strength 5. If you defeat the living statue, the attack counts as a standoff unless you defeat it with a weapon that is a magic object. We have a regular sword, so it will count as a standoff if we win. Well, I'm not happy about that. We stand to gain nothing from this combat. But at least we saw a thing, and we didn't lose. So I guess it could have been worse. Take 1 life from another character for a talisman. The Amazon's new quest. The Martyr faces a demon. That's pretty much horse hockey. Am I misunderstanding that? When you attack a character or creature in battle, okay, strength-based combat. So she didn't have an opportunity to martyr herself in that particular scenario. Pretty obvious the way that one was going to go. Amazon wins. Surprise. Okay, what are our options here? We're not going back. That's a library. We could get a spell or an immediate turn. And I believe that's a draw 1. So we have a draw 1 over here, and the draw 3. I kind of want to take the draw 3 just to get the cards, but it's really, really risky. There is some crazy stuff in this deck. So we'll take it slow. We can be here for a little while. A Tinker Imp, craft 4. Before you engage the Tinker Imp in psychic combat, one of your objects chosen at random is teleported to a space 1 die roll clockwise. While that could be detrimental, It won't affect this particular combat. That, however, may. A 7. We did roll significantly low, and I haven't used any fate so far. Let's see how it goes. A very good result. I am pretty happy with that. We will need to go get our sword again. But with our increased movement ability, I feel pretty confident in being able to do so. Looks like the Amazon is gaining a strength. That Amazon is somewhat strong now. I don't feel great about it, but there's not a whole lot I can do. Okay, moving on, hopefully to our sword. No, we are not. Hall of Darkness or Draw 1. I feel much better about the Draw 1. At the Hall of Darkness, we can just move around a little bit. On a die roll, we can move 3, 2, or 1 space back, or 1, 2, or 3 forward. I feel like we have more control just taking our own movement, since we get 2 die to do it in. So a Hobgoblin should go down pretty easily, unless we roll incredibly low. But we rolled high enough. 1 Hobgoblin for us, that is a turn in. It's not? Ah, right, the Tinker Imp is our other. In that case, regardless of whether our next trophy is a strength or a craft, it will be a turn-in. Looks like Raiders took all of her 0 gold and deposited it where she is. And the Martyr is about to be toted. Sadly, no. But she did suffer detriment. No? Ah, it's item-based. Yes, indeed. Okay, my bad. The Amazon arrives at the cell, where you lose 1 follower. You must leave one of your followers in the cell. If there are any followers already there, you may take one of them with you. Okay. Although no one has followers, that could be pretty bad. Looks like we'll be able to pick up our sword, which I'm pretty grateful for. At the kitchen, you may roll 1 die to eat. We won't be able to do this because we'll pick up our sword. Oh, that doesn't count. Okay. You may roll 1 die to eat. And it tastes great. Fantastic. We didn't heal. I would have liked... Well, it is a heal, not a gain. That is one of the important parts of Talisman. If it says heal, you can't go above your starting value. If it says gain, you can gain more than your starting value. In this case, we could get no benefit from the board tile, but we could lose 1 life if we rolled a 1. Getting the sword back was definitely worth it, though. And I'm kind of happy to see that that space exists, because it's somewhat of an ability to get some health back in a dangerous place. Let's see if this Amazon comes after us. Looks like she is moving forward, and a cave-in could be detrimental to everyone here. It is certainly detrimental to her. Let's see. A 5. Nothing happens. Very, very nice. I'm happy about that. Now, she is going to have a bit of a time, although the Cave Troll and Goblin Tunneler are apparently 1.2 weak. And it counts as a standoff. She must fight again. One interesting facet of that is that they retain their total strength, even though the cave troll was the one that regenerated. The goblin tunneler also did not die. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out, so I'm very happy to see its actual effect, and that it didn't happen to me. Because she is down to 1 health. Although I would only be down to 3, I don't want to suffer the same fate. A corridor or a torture chamber? Well, I think we should go to the torture chamber, because we have no gold. That's pretty silly, let's not do that. Draw 1! A giant rat. Very nice. This should be a turn-in for us. Indeed it is. A 6 or a 5 would have given it a chance, but I would have just re-rolled it. More strength. We have 6 points. That's really kind of a bad trade. That's only 2 points off of 2 strength at 8 trophies. So for now, I'm not going to trade it in. That may hurt us in the long run. Or in the short run, for that matter. I don't feel badly about the decision, but I don't feel particularly good about it either. Looks like the Amazon is going to be toted. Or lose a craft, which she can't do, so that's fine. Oh, my bad, that was the Martyr. I don't think she could either. A Vassal of Darkness, an interesting card. It is a craft 6. For evil characters, it's a craft 3. And for good characters, it may be a 9. And the Amazon is dead. I would say I'm sad about that, but I'm really not. Draw 3 or draw 1. All of these take us ever closer to the Lord of Darkness, and I'm definitely not ready to attack the Lord of Darkness. I do feel relatively strong though, so let's draw 3. This could end up being a misplay. Craft 6. Well, that's pretty bad. Craft 4. A 10 craft so far. And a spell ring. Well, we are going to get our butts kicked by this craft. We have the option to auto lose. We're 3 against 10. So let's just do that. That's unfortunate. That's our first health loss, I believe. And I'm not happy about it. But at least we're not Purple Amazon. Purple Amazon had a rough day. Looks like the Martyr picked up a Talisman. I think that's the first of the game. Yes, it is. I'm not unhappy with the way this dungeon has gone overall. Well, we're not going to the Torturer, so we'll draw 1. I'm not unhappy overall with the way that it's gone. I'm happy to see cards. A Craft 7, a Tomb Warden. Well. That's not going to go well. We do have a chance. It didn't auto-lose. But we don't have a chance. I am pretty short-term unhappy that we're getting all of these craft-based monsters. Again, I'm not going to trade in until we get 2 more points. I'm not happy that we're encountering a lot of craft-based creatures. That said, I'm happy to see more cards from the deck. And I like that we've seen some new spaces. but I have a feeling that I'm gonna die in here. The Amazon is probably not the best character to do this dungeon with, as I'm somewhat finding out. Yes, let's go attack the things that are horrible. Monster Pit! Roll 1 die to determine how many cards to draw. 1, 2, 3, or we can choose how many. That's just risky enough to work. I do have a health. We can absorb a hit. We could go straight to the Lord of Darkness, but he's 12. That is, I believe, an auto kill. No, I think we can stand off if we roll a 6. So we're not going to do that. There is no possible way to win. But let's go draw an indeterminate number of cards. We can choose how many? Choices. 3 is really, really dangerous, but we have a lot of high craft things out on the board already. How many more can there possibly be? 3 is too risky, 1 doesn't seem worth it, so we'll go for 2. A strength 9. And a strength 10. Good lord. Okay, well, that's pretty terrible. We'll evade that one because we can. 6 versus 9. That's pretty terrible. Fortunately, as the Amazon, we can redo it and hope that the Goblin Marauders don't get a good roll. They did, so we're down to 1 health. And this is basically just reinforcing. I'm really tempted to trade those in. It wouldn't have helped that much, so it's still not worth it. But it just reinforces that this is somewhat a higher level area than I'm capable of at the moment. We just consistently draw cards that are unhandleable. I'm not complaining, it's just learning about the expansion. Though to some extent, if it's that high level, what's the benefit in going there? Other than fun and adventure. Because you have to spend so much time in the outer region to not be screwed by the inner bit here on the dungeon. It seems, at least, that you might as well go for the Crown of Command at that point. Draw 2, or draw 3, or get our butt kicked again, or draw 1. Let's draw 2, mostly because I haven't learned my lesson and I only have 1 health. When I put it that way, the draw 1 sounds a lot better. Let's backtrack just a little bit. A Strength 8 Colossal freaking Ogre. Okay. Well, I don't expect good things, but we do have a chance. Not with rolls like that, but we can redo the battle. And try again. That's a much better roll for us, and a slightly worse, although it still wins. There's no point in re-rolling ours. Again, I wish I could re-roll the Ogre's die, but no go. So, we're dead. I don't feel good about the way that that went. We'll just see how everybody else plays out, and consider this a learning experience. What did we learn? The dungeon is scary as crap. assuming that you find crap relatively scary. There's a lot of cards in there that are pretty horrible. Definitely not something to delve into right off the bat. Getting some strength and craft before engaging too far into it is really quite a good idea. I don't think I'll play too many more rounds because I usually feel that once I die, the game is basically going to take so long that I just don't want to play it. Not that I dislike the game, but I dislike 3 to 4 hour games. We can fight a farmer, that's fine. So, in addition to that, the Amazon may not be the best character for that particular expansion. At least until she is sufficiently snowballed. There was a commenter on the last video that said the assassin was a particularly strong dungeon runner, and I can definitely see how that would work. Being able to take those high strength mobs down by not letting them roll their die is pretty strong. So we may try that as well. But I'm still a bit confused as to why you would go for the Lord of Darkness. If you can go for the Lord of Darkness, you can make a run for the Crown of Command. There's really not a whole lot of risk at that point in doing so. It could be a teleport to the Crown of Command, or the door, or any number of other places. That's a terrible roll. Fortunately, it's just good enough. But, other than the adventure of it, I don't see a point. There are probably really cool treasures in there. Not owning the physical board, I wouldn't know. I am interested to see them purely from a learning and experience mindset, but I don't think that this video is going to be the one to do it. I'll probably still upload it because we did learn a lot and we saw some cool cards. But I think I'll just take this turn and see what happens. If it's spectacular, maybe we'll see about doing some more. 2 gold. That's not it. So, we did learn some more. We learned, for one, that the Amazon can't rush it. We learned that it's really scary. We saw some cool stuff. I like the kitchen in particular. It's somewhat likely that you're going to lose some health doing what we tried to do. So the kitchen is a decent way, I think it was there, to potentially get some health back. The guard room seems okay-ish. It's not terrible. The cell is potentially detrimental, but you could get some good followers that others have dropped as well. So that one's kind of up in the air. The Hall of Darkness could be fine, but it seems like a meh sort of space. Other than that, the torture chamber is just straight up crap. Losing strength or craft that deep is really bad. The monster pit is pretty interesting, although it's basically just a combination of card draws. I'm noticing to some extent that there aren't too many spaces like the runes, where creatures add to their attack rolls, or anything like that. It's basically just card draw, or here's some wacky effect. Summoning circle. Move the closest enemy in the dungeon to this space. If 2 or more are equidistant, choose which enemy is moved here. If there are no enemies, draw 2. And encounter all enemies that are drawn. Huh. That's kind of interesting. It seems like it could be situationally good, but most of the time bad. However, I think that this was definitely the wrong way to approach the dungeon. A weaponsmith grants the first character a weapon. The way that the dungeon was approached in this video is the wrong way to approach the dungeon, at least from what I can tell. Rushing it right off the bat is terrible. We needed more strength and more craft to hold a chance at all of doing well. Abilities like the Assassins may be really pretty good. Some of the spellcasting characters as well may be pretty suited to it depending on how their draws go. A maze, fantastic. So, while it hasn't been particularly fruitful, we did learn some new things, and I'm glad for that. Hopefully we'll learn some things in the next video. See you then.